Hi guys, welcome back to my YouTube channel. So today I'm joined by the lovely Zoa, who's part of Two Dentists. If you haven't already, check out their channel. They make amazing videos. And we're going to be talking to you guys about tips for foundation year, because I know a lot of you guys are starting foundation year and you might be feeling a bit nervous, so I thought it would be good if we teamed up together and made this video for you guys. So I'll get Zoe to introduce himself.
Yes, thank you for having me on your channel as well.
No worries.
And my name is Zoe, as Yewande said, and I have a YouTube channel called Two Dentists that I run with my friend Ali. We've just nearly hit 1 year on YouTube as well, so it's been really fun. And I finished my foundation training just like Yewande about a couple weeks ago as well, so we're here to give you guys some good tips, hopefully.
I hope you guys found this video useful. If you guys find it useful, as always, make sure to like, subscribe, and just leave a comment telling us your favourite tip. So we'll get straight into the video and we'll just be going through our top 5 tips for foundation year.
So the first tip that I have is to make the best use of your study days. So I was on a Northwest London scheme course and we had loads of study days. We had like root canal, extractions, post and cores, composites, and every single one will have a different person running it. And at the beginning, of course, you won't have too many kind of patients and cases, but as you go through your foundation training, I feel like you get a lot of difficult cases that come up, and it's so useful to make sure you have these cases lined up so that when you go to that study day, you can take the case with you. So for example, for surgical extractions, I took a lot of x-rays that I had of like difficult extractions, and so I could talk through with the kind of person running the course and ask them for their advice on how they would manage it. And especially for root canals, that's such an easy one. You just take an x-ray.
Yeah.
Did you guys have the Vish and Aaron?
Vish and Aaron, they're amazing.
Yeah.
Honestly, like I completely agree with what he said. Like some of the study days, they put so much money into it. So like you just need to make use of it. So if you have a case coming up, I remember with Vish and Aaron, I'd like show them and they'd be so helpful, because at the end of the day, they're there to help you. So yeah, definitely make the use of all your study days, because once you finish foundation year, you're gonna have to pay for courses. You pay for courses, so you get a whole year of learning for free. So just literally make the most use of it.
If you guys are lucky enough to get Vish and Aaron, honestly, they're amazing. So make sure you take your x-rays, take your teeth with you and make the best of it.
So tip number 2, I'd advise you guys to just take advantage of your time as a foundation dentist and just do as many cases as you can. Remember that you're salaried for the year and you don't have that much pressure, so you don't really have to worry about lab fees, UDAs. So you literally just take on as much as you can. I was lucky that I was in quite a high needs area, so I had a lot of cases where they needed a lot of work. So if you're in a high needs area and you have a lot to do, literally it's a blessing, because from that you can learn. And I literally made sure that even though it was like mainly NHS, I was providing a lot of high quality work for all my patients and trying to sort of implement everything that I learned on my study days. Would you agree? Yeah,
I completely agree. I mean, I know some of you might get really nervous or stressed out when you get a patient that has loads of caries and they need lots of work done, but those are literally the best patients, because you get to learn so much through all the fillings that you're going to do, the denture that you're going to make, and treatment planning as well. So of course, as you know, mention it to your educational supervisor and go through it with them. But those are the kind of patients where you learn so much. So don't be scared when those kind of patients walk in through the door. Literally do as much as you can. And I think if there is something that's a little bit difficult and out of your comfort zone, definitely like mention it to the patient, but plan it with your supervisor. Like for example, I remember I had one case where the caries looked really deep on the radiograph, and in my head I thought there's no way that's restorable. But my educational supervisor said, at least try, so you know what that kind of looks like. And to be fair, we put the rubber dam on, we did the restoration, and then I was able to kind of understand when I see on the x-ray the caries is that deep, this is what it will kind of look like in the mouth. But if I hadn't done that, I would literally never know.
So literally just take advantage. You've got an educational supervisor there. This is going to be the only time in your career where you have someone that literally checks up on you every single time. So I know sometimes you might feel like you're bothering them, or you might feel like, oh, let me not ask too many questions, but do it. There's no need to be embarrassed. They're literally your educational supervisor. So anytime I was stuck, I always made sure to get them in, and the year is about learning, and you learn so much from that.
So the third tip that I have is to write your e-portfolio reflections on the actual study day. So if you guys know by now, when you go on a study day, you'll have to have your reflection on the e-portfolio system, which can be quite troublesome if you don't do it properly. what I did was I made like a little template. You can check it out on my channel, but you can just do it on Microsoft Word if you want, something like that. I used to copy out the questions, and whilst I'm on the study day, I would just answer it right then and there. So usually the first one is, what topics are you covering? And there's always, at the beginning of the lecture, they would have topics covering learning objectives. So you just copy paste that onto your Word document, and there we go, you have it written. And as you're learning, make your notes in that. So usually I would just go home, adjust it a little bit, and I'll just copy paste onto the ePortfolio, and it saved me a lot of time. So just try to make sure you stay on top of your ePortfolio as much as you can. Use templates and try to do it on the day.
I actually used your template.
Oh really?
Yeah, I found it super useful. So yeah, definitely, because ePortfolio, it's one of those things, it can be a bit tedious, and you guys will soon realize that, you know, you have to literally, it's like a diary, you have to fill out every single thing that you do. So it can be easily forgotten. So when you have like a template, it makes life a lot easier. And definitely stay on top of it, because you know, you don't want to be that person that your TPD is calling you and sending you emails and chasing you up. It's not going to look good. So just really make sure that you just stay on top of your ePortfolio. If you want to have an easy foundation year, you have clinical work that's stressing you already, so you don't need this extra stress. So yeah, stay on top of it. Okay, so tip number 4, take photos of your work, because you'll regret it if you don't. I remember at first I was a bit rusty with photography, because, you know, in dental school you're not really taking photos of your work, but I tried to get into the habit of saying, you know what, I'm gonna learn how to use this camera properly, and I started taking pictures of, like, you know, a lot of my patients, almost all of them. Even if it wasn't going to be an exciting case at first, you never know what could happen at the end. And it was such a key part of my foundation year, because it allowed me to sort of reflect on my cases. And you know, sometimes when a picture speaks 1,000 words, because I was able to show those cases to sort of my trainer and even some other clinicians to get their advice, and it allowed me to learn. I even got to the stage where I've actually started posting some of my cases on my Instagram. And this is something I thought I'd never do, you know, like, oh God, why are you gonna post, you know, foundation training work on your page? But I thought, you know what, this is all about learning at the end of the day. And if you notice with my Instagram, I always, whenever I post a case, like even during my foundation year, I'd always put like a little reflection, like, okay, I know I could have done this better. And it takes a lot to publicly reflect.
It does.
It takes so much, because I felt like, oh God, I don't want people to be judging my work, and I know it's not like completely perfect yet, but I feel like everyone starts from somewhere. And the way I see it, I know that I'm gonna just get better. So then I can look back at, you know, some of my first cases and be like, oh wow, like I actually posted that on my Instagram, and oh look, my work is better now. So I'd say take photos, because that's the only way you're gonna, you know how good you're getting. Because, you know, when you're an associate, you know, come 3-4 years time, you're gonna think, oh man, I really wish, how was my work like when I first started? But you're not, I'm sure you guys are all smart, but no one has that photographic memory. You're not gonna remember. So yeah, definitely take pictures. One tip I'll give you guys, they actually gave us this tip on our study day, so I'll give you guys a tip early. But get theatre cloth, so you can order it on Amazon. And this theatre cloth, I loved it, because you literally, it's black cloth. I put it over the door, and I got patients to do like testimonials on it, and that's where I took my extra oral photographs, and it just made it look really professional, and I like that sort of professional look. So yeah, theatre cloth was really good, because I thought when I first saw people having these black backgrounds on Instagram, I was like, oh, are they in a studio?
It was a filter.
Yeah, I was like, what is this? Yeah. So that's the hack, guys. Now you know.
Yeah, I couldn't agree more. Like, photography, I think, is so important moving forward. And even if you guys don't post it on your Instagram, just for you to look at it yourself and reflect on it is just so important.
100%.
And I mean, we were in the COVID year, or one of the COVID years, and your education supervisor might not be able to come in to every single patient.
Nope.
But what I would do is I would just make sure I have pictures, and then after I would go through it with my education supervisor, and she would give me advice, like, you did this well, you did that well, do this better. And you learn a lot. 100%. And you know, sometimes you look at your own work, and in the patient, even with loops on, I don't notice that I like touch the amalgam next to it. But I take the photo, and when I go home and I put it on a big screen, I'm like, damn, I really scratched up that amalgam, didn't I? So you learn a lot from it, and the better you get at it, like the easier it becomes, but you have to practice. The more you practice, the better you'll be, and it'll just become habit. So our final tip is to speak to as many people as you can when you're trying to decide what to do after your foundation training year. There might be quite a lot of pressure on people, you know, do I do DCT, do I do associateship, do I do this exam, that exam, and a lot of people just kind of follow what their friends are doing or what everyone does. But I feel like the best way to actually figure out what you want to do might just be to speak to those people doing DCT, doing associateship,
100%.
and get a feel for what they do in their actual year.
Yeah, because it can be quite confusing when you've just finished your foundation year. You're trying to think of the next steps. I remember I found this bit really difficult. I didn't know whether I wanted to do DCT or be an associate. But the best thing I found was to, like I said, speak to people and just, you know, you get a feel of what you want to do. I think deep down inside, I knew I wanted to just carry on being an associate. But I felt like, oh no, I don't want to miss out. You know, FOMO, I had the fear.
You question yourself.
You question yourself. And don't ever feel like you have to sort of copy everyone else. There's no set path. Everyone has a different career path. And, you know, just follow, and it's going to sound really cheesy, but follow your heart. Follow what you want to do, and then you'll end up where you want to be. Right guys, I hope you guys enjoyed those tips and you found it useful. As always, you can feel free to just, you know, check us out on Instagram if you want. So what's your details?
You can follow us on Instagram at 2.dentists and on YouTube, our YouTube channel is called 2dentists as well. So thank you so much, Yewande, for having me on your channel. I really enjoyed it, and I really hope you guys enjoyed our tips as well.
No worries, and you guys know where to find me. I'm not going to go into all of that. All right guys, so I'll see you on the next video. Bye.
Bye.